Richard Pease, and I was a lieutenant when I left the Navy. While off the coast there of Vietnam, operating on the Tripoli, I saw these little swift boats running around. Looked like a lot of fun. Looked like more fun than what I was having on the LPH, so I volunteered for swift boats, asked to get that duty, and lo and behold, I got it. And so I returned. Let's see, I think I probably started Swift School at Coronado in, I think, probably September of '68, and left there, arrived in country in very early February of '69. And spent a couple days at Cameron at the squadron headquarters there, and then was sent down to Coastal Division 11 at Antoy, and received, became the officer in charge of PCF 3. And I think I did one coastal patrol there at Antoy, and from that point on, it was all river operations. I'd been there not quite a month. It was on an operation in the Bodie River, 5 boats. Was leading a column. There were 2 boats on either side, and the OTC was in a boat pretty much in the center of the river, in the back of the columns. So I was leading the column on the left side, exiting the river after a long day of operations, and of course we had to figure out which side of all of the fish stakes to go on, and you know, take a guess at which was the best way to go, and so as we went past the fish stakes, mine went off under my boat, literally lifted it about 5 feet out of the water, just straight up. The guys, 2 or 3 of my crewmen on the fantail were blown off. I was actually sitting at the helm in the pilot house. Was thrown up against the ceiling. I was wearing a helmet of some kind. I don't know what kind it was anymore, but Butch Vorpal was our radarman, and he reminded me at a reunion a while back that the helmet actually split in half and was hanging on my head, which was kind of amazing. And why I didn't get a broken neck, I have no idea. But when I don't know whether I was unconscious for any period of time, it would have only been seconds, I think, if I was at all, I don't know. I'm sure I was stunned. And just remember the boat still rocking, and I was trying to steer it and not sure what was going on, and of course we had the blast had broken the mounts of one of the engines, and one engine was still running. Had broken the water pump, and so what was happening is the one engine was still idling, and it was pumping water, even though the hull wasn't ruptured. It was pumping cooling water out of the river into the boat, and was slowly taking on water and starting to sink. But immediately Jack Chenoweth, his boat were right behind me. They picked up my crewman, Larry Thurlow, was the OTC. He was there very quickly. Of course, I should back up and say that as soon as the mine went off, everybody just starts shooting, and so that went on for probably 30 seconds to a minute, I suppose, and then people stopped shooting to see if there's anybody actually shooting back. Turns out there really wasn't anybody there other than somebody sitting in the bushes setting off the mine. And so, you know, once that was over, Larry Thurlow jumped aboard the boat, and then other people and were helping us. Of course, we were injured to various degrees, and Butch Vorpal's the radarman, and he was in the pilot house also, and the radar screen was laying on the deck, and a lot of things, you know, broken up. But so they got the boat under control and started taking care of us, and we were one of the other boats then took us out. You know, I suppose we spent 10, 15, 20 minutes doing first aid and evaluating the damage to the boat, and then one of the boats took us out to an LST, as I recall, and then we were medevaced out by helicopter once we got there. And then the other guys took the boat out. I think they had to bring in some a salvage boat of some kind, and help pump the water out of it, and then they towed it out, and so the boat was eventually sent to Cameron Bay, to the repair facility up there, and my crew and I, as we got out of the hospital, ended up up there with the boat until it was repaired, and returned then to Antoid when the boat was repaired, and all the guys were repaired. So that was one of the more exciting experiences. One of the most poignant experiences was one of my injuries was a crack in a vertebrae in my lower back, that was pinching a nerve, so I couldn't stand up. I'd had a hole in my cheek, and I think they must have taken 10 x-rays of my head trying to find something in there. There wasn't. It was probably glass from the pilot house windows or something that caused that. I don't really know. But after a couple days in the hospital, I noticed I wasn't standing up at all when I was walking. I was walking hunched over, and so they moved me into an orthopedic ward. And I cannot remember the name of the medevac hospital, but it was south of Catlow, as I recall, right on the coast. I just cannot remember the name of it. But in the orthopedic ward, there were, I believe it was 6 or 12 guys, Army privates mostly, I think, with legs off. One guy had both legs off, and that's when I realized This is serious business.